Live and local from the WCPX newsroom, this is 6 News.
After a couple hours rain delay, the biggest NASCAR race of the year revs up. And what the fans went through to see the 500 may surprise you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joan Khoenle.
And I'm Trace Gallagher. Thanks for joining us. Our coverage of Speed Week's grand finale continues right now. The Daytona 500 is over after starting, stopping, and starting again. The defending champion Sterling Marlin led most of the way, but could he hang on to win it? Mike Storms has been out at Daytona for what seems like about 2 weeks now. He joins us live with the wrap-up. Stormy?
You're absolutely right, but I'll tell you, I was not under the kind of pressure by any stretch of the imagination that Sterling Marlin was today. Here he is leading the race. He's led 105 laps of this race. Coming on the last lap for the win, he looks in his rearview mirror, and there is the most dominating man at the Daytona International Speedway, Dale Earnhardt, in the black number 3, breathing down his neck. Sterling Marlin knows he just has to hang on and drive one more lap to win it. What a sterling performance it is. Sterling Marlin puts on the kind of show that everybody here can appreciate. What you're looking at are those final laps. That is Robert Presley wrecking with Dick Trickle while they're under the caution. Dale Earnhardt will pit. He rejoins the race at the 14th spot with 10 laps to go. With 7 laps to go, he has moved up to 7. With 6 laps to go, he passes Jeff Gordon. He is now 4th behind Marlin, Martin, and Dale Jarrett. With 4 laps to go, he passes Jarrett. Take a look at this. With 2 laps to go, Dale Earnhardt is putting on a charge, going around Mark Martin on the inside. So Sterling Marlin knows he has a battle on his hands, but Sterling Marlin shows that he has the dominant car. Here at the Daytona International Speedway, you see him in victory lane celebrating. Sterling Marlin wins back-to-back Daytona 500s. Only 2 drivers have ever done that in the history of this racetrack. He puts his name in some very prestigious company, right along that of Richard Petty and Cale Yarborough. This is a story that they'll be talking about for some time, and so will we. Trace?
And of course, Mike, again, Dale Earnhardt, even though he finished 2nd, still a very disappointing day for him.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean, Dale Earnhardt has won every race there is to win here at the Daytona International Speedway. He has won 26 times here at this speedway. He comes here the 17th time to win the Daytona 500, and once again, he comes up short. He has finished 2nd. Of course, there are other drivers who have never won this as well. Ken Schrader has won. Mark Martin has won. I mean, the list goes on. Rusty Wallace has never won this race. There are some pretty prestigious names there on those who have not won side as well. Trace?
All right, Stormy, of course, we'll have more coming up a little later on in sports. Thanks very much. Well, you think the cars were jockeying for position inside the race? Well, you should have seen the cars outside.
That's right, a traffic jam that you wouldn't believe, of course, unless you were in it. As Channel 6 News reporter Marcia Crowley shows us, dedicated race fans didn't let it stop them.
Well before the crack of dawn, fans raced into the speedway. Or should we say, crept in. A granddaddy of traffic jams turned US 92 into a parking lot for hours this morning. Nothing new to Officer Miller, who has directed race day drivers here for 27 years.
It's really a lot of fun. After a few years, you work hard, but there's the nice things that a lot of people come by, a lot of people see me year after year and yell at me.
What's fun for Miller can be frustrating for motorists, though.
How long have you been waiting to get in here?
About an hour, about an hour and a half. We're not sure if we're going to get in or not. We're getting close now, though.
But it seems no matter how long these folks have braved the traffic and the crowds, they all say they do much more than that to get into this race. Hey, is this all worth it to you?
Sure.
How come?
Drink beer. I'm a die-hard fan.
And they don't come any more hardcore than the Birdsels.
Full rain suit and a sweatshirt.
They ought to know what to bring after 10 years of race day experience.
That's 4 great tickets, so we're going to continue to come as long as we can walk.
And fans certainly did their share of walking today, and waiting, and more walking and waiting. Except, of course, 2-year-old Kyle Larkham, who seemed to have the best means of transportation going. In Daytona Beach, Marcia Crowley for Channel 6 News.
And Speedway Security estimated the crowd at 150,000 people today. More than 100,000, though, turned out yesterday for the goodies 300.
And by the time those folks got inside, they were ready to get some speed going.
Yes, they were.
We're going to have much more ahead on the Daytona 500 coming up a little bit later in sports.
And in other news tonight, police are looking for whomever pointed a gun at 2 men and then pulled the trigger. The gunman is now a murderer. That story is still to come.
And a family of 13 finds it hard to stay together when they are burned out of their home. Plus, a mess on I-4 when a mobile home and a car have a run-in. Stay with us.
This portion of Channel 6 News is brought to you by your local Jeep and Eagle dealer.
A car hauling a mobile home has a near miss on I-4. It ends up on the side of the interstate. I-4 traffic near Lake Monroe backed up for a while this afternoon while drivers slowed down to see what was happening. Nobody was hurt.
Shots ring out in the middle of the night in Pine Hills. When the smoke clears, one man is dead, another is down. 20-year-old Bobby Lambert was killed. 21-year-old David Scott was wounded. Now, Orange County deputies are looking for 4 or 5 Hispanic males who were driving a light blue Ford Mustang. The search for this man is over. He's 24-year-old Stephen Ingram. Police believe he shot and killed 21-year-old Terrence Hawks in front of a downtown Orlando church. Police tell us the shooting was the result of an argument. A Central Florida family has lost their home and all of their belongings to fire.
The mother, the father, and 11 children were burned out of their Seminole County trailer last night. The DeWitt kids range in age from 1 to 18 years old. Only 2 of them were home with their mother when the fire broke out. Bad wiring behind the stove set off the fast-moving flames. Firefighters say it is a miracle that nobody was hurt, and the family agrees.
We've all said that we've still got us. The kids think that the bigger ones who can think that it'll probably make them closer.
The family is now staying with friends. They were in the process of building a home when the fire destroyed their trailer. The DeWitts are getting some help from the Orlando Red Cross. And if you'd like to help, you can contact them.
Well, they tried once to move it, that shrimp boat from Satellite Beach, but it's still stuck. So what happens next?
And the most dangerous jobs, the Silver Spurs rodeo, and also the biggest crowd pleasers.
Right now, here's a look at the lotto combination and all the payoffs. Nobody won the top prize, so the jackpot rolls over to $19 million.
This portion of Channel 6 News is sponsored by Circuit City.
That shrimp boat that drifted too close to shore yesterday morning is still stuck tonight. The Coast Guard tried to remove the 65-footer last night during the high tide, but it just wouldn't budge. They're going to try it again tonight. The boat's crew says that they got stuck on a sandbar during heavy fog. That was early yesterday morning. And you know what? That kind of weather, heavy fog, we're seeing all kinds of weather across Central Florida.
That's right. Even heavy thunder showers.
Right, I was just going to say.
Tonight. So, yeah, maybe they'll get that shrimp boat off by tomorrow. Fog expected again tonight, mixed with thunder showers. And speaking, Joan, of thunder showers, watch as we move the 6-Doppler radar along here. You'll see these sprouting up in the southern part of our coverage area here. The latest now in Lake Osceola and Okeechobee and Polk counties, crawling across almost the same place they did yesterday, through Lake Okeechobee and then up here into South Polk County. Now, this is the storm here that is drifting to the north-northeast at about 20 miles per hour. If it continues, it'll go through Frostproof in South Osceola County. Now, Osceola County is a very long county, so that'll be tracking south. I think it'll dissipate later on, but that is the heaviest one we have now. Nothing severe for the rest of our coverage area, just some light thunder showers. But we do have that potential for some severe weather later on tonight for Central Florida, as we might have some sprouting thunder showers later on. We do see a band of heavy storms, as you saw in South Georgia and Alabama. We have a front which will eventually, by tomorrow, will move to the south, and by even Tuesday morning, we have yet one more cold air mass that will come in here and cool things off by tomorrow night and Tuesday morning. One more time. Tonight, lows will be in the 50s for Central Florida, 40s up in Georgia, 60s for South Florida. Here's our 6 in flight tonight. You can see some of those thunder showers developing in South Florida, but here in Central Florida, not too bad. Then you can see the band of rain ahead of that frontal system, too, as well. The system we're talking about right over Central Florida tonight, Ralph Cocoa Beach north, will continue to move up a little bit, and then that cold front swings down by Tuesday morning. That's what will cool things off. This afternoon's highs with cloudy conditions, 67 Daytona Beach and Ocala, 79 Orlando. Right now it's 74 in Orlando, 60 Daytona Beach, and 64 cloudy conditions in Ocala. And high humidity is a little unstable tonight. That's why we have that good chance of thunder showers. Winds a little mixed, mostly out of the north at about 12 miles per hour, for example, at Daytona Beach. Forecast for you tonight, there's a potential for scattered storms tonight. We're not looking for a lot of them, but it could pop up, and we noticed the one there in South Polk County. Might move through Osceola County. Lows tonight for Central Florida, 60 to 64. Now tomorrow, still cloudy, but then clearing by late afternoon, about 4 or 5 o'clock. We'll clear things up, 70 to 75 for a high tomorrow, southwest winds. Now, along the coast, southwest winds and seas at 2 to 3 feet with a light chop. 5-day forecast does the best of describing the scenario over the week. We will go a high of 73 tomorrow, rain. Look at the cool off for Tuesday, 65, starting off a nice, cool, sunshiny week. I like that after this cloudy, messy kind of weekend.
Yeah, and this time of the year, it always tends to be kind of up and down with the temperatures anyway.
Yep.
All right, Pat, thanks a lot.
All right, Joan.
Trace?
Well, the biggest rodeo east of the Mississippi, the Silver Spurs, wrapped up today after a weekend of roping and riding. And as Channel 6 News' Mary Hamill found out, the biggest crowd pleasers this weekend were the guys in the funny clothes.
Of course, the rodeo clowns are entertaining to watch, but they have a very important job out here. Their job is to keep the bull away from the cowboy once his ride is over. Now, in the last 5 years or so, some of those guys have changed the way they do things. One in particular, Rowdy Berry, he's right up there. He's performing here this weekend. Doesn't consider himself a clown at all. He is a bullfighter, and he'll do whatever it takes to keep the cowboys safe.
Sometimes they get thrown off and they don't know which way the bull is, or sometimes they're dizzy or whatever, or they can get hung up, and we got to step in there and untie them, or just step in there and take the bull away so they can make it to the chute safely and go to the next rodeo.
As you can see, this is dangerous, unpredictable work. Rowdy has broken his ribs, his legs, and pulled the muscles in his hips. But once he heals, he's back for more. Rowdy is definitely at the top of his craft. He wins all kinds of bullfighting contests. Most of those are held out west. Now, when he performs in a rodeo like this, he'll make anywhere from $300 to $1,000 per performance. And he knows he's taking a gigantic risk every time he gets in an arena like this. In Kissimmee, I'm Mary Hamill, Channel 6 News.
And if you missed this weekend's rodeo, you don't have to wait long to see the next one. It's coming up in July.
And it was a sterling finish to the Daytona 500.
After a long...
Sorry about that.
After a very long waiting game, the drivers finally got it going, and it's all coming up next on Channel 6 News. Well, it's what the sports world is talking about, the Daytona 500.
Mike Storms is live out at the Daytona International Speedway, where today's race was the big finale to Speed Week's 95. Mike?
It absolutely was the Daytona 500. What an incredible race. But before we get to the Daytona 500, let me tell you about the Orlando Magic. The Magic on the road today. The Magic coming off a huge win against the Philadelphia 76ers Friday night. So you just knew the Magic were ripe. I mean, ripe for an upset. They're in Minnesota taking on the Timberwolves. Let me take you to Minneapolis for this one.
And Googs is in the house, but he is not...
Tom Gugliotta meeting his new teammates. The Timberwolves on an early run. Isaiah Rioter, the finesse duck. Minnesota leads by 14. Shaq's inside power. The dunk off the rebound from Shaq in transition. Shaquille O'Neal with the slam. 3D, Dennis Scott. Get it out to him, folks, when you need some three-point action, and he's got it. The Magic lead 40-38. We're in the second quarter. At halftime, the Magic are out in front by 4. J.R. Ryder erupts in the third quarter with 17 points. This three puts the Wolves up by 7. Will somebody put a block on that guy and get him out of here? Shaquille O'Neal, the reverse jam. Shaq looking like himself. Nick Anderson will bank in the 3, but it's not enough. The Magic lose 100-95 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Some fast action on the hardwood. Now some fast action on the track. A memorable Daytona 500, one of the most memorable. Only 2 other times have drivers come to this track with a win the previous year and then backing it up with a back-to-back win. It happened today. start line by Dale Jarrett and Dale Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt here for the 17th time, trying to win for the first time. On the 11th lap, Joe Nemechek gets loose up against the wall, cuts across the track. He nails Brett Bodine. Both drivers skid across the asphalt. Joe Nemechek in car number 87 is headed for the wall. That has to hurt. And Joe Nemechek is not a happy driver.
I think that Steve Grissom and his spotter better learn how to communicate a little bit better. You know, they've been having spotters meetings all week, trying to get the spotters not to get in predicaments like that. And I had a whole fender up alongside, and he must have stayed clear because he just come right up and put me up in the wall.
But there's always next week. Out on the track, Sterling Marlin leads Jeff Gordon. Take a look at what's happening in turn 2. Steve Kinzer, a rookie, and Phil Parsons get together. They're both out of the race.
Well, I got a run on Steve going down the front straightaway and then pulled up beside him going down in turn 1. And obviously, you know, Steve didn't see I was there, and his spotter didn't tell him I was there. So he turned left to go down the out of the racetrack, and I happened to be there, and that got him sideways, and then it carried us both up into the wall.
After a rain delay of 1 hour and 45 minutes, some incredible driving by Dale Earnhardt. We showed you earlier. He restarts the race late in the race with 14 laps to go and moves himself up to second, right behind Sterling Marlin. But Sterling Marlin today has more than enough power to win it. Sterling Marlin wins back-to-back Daytona 500s. Only 2 other drivers have done that, Richard Petty and Cale Yarborough. So that puts Sterling Marlin in some pretty prestigious company. It leaves Dale Earnhardt still wondering, when in the world is he going to win a Daytona 500? Dale Earnhardt has been here to this track 17 times and has yet to win the Daytona 500. Although he is one of the most winning drivers here at the Speedway, he has won 26 other races here. He still lacks that one. But as we said earlier in our broadcast, a lot of drivers are in that same company there with Dale Earnhardt, and a lot of very good drivers. Trace, Joan?
All right, Stormy, thanks very much.
All right, Mike. Some young people are given cans of paint and they are told to express themselves.
And what they did may set a record. Stay with us. They are the cases that haunt police for years, sometimes decades, the cases that go unsolved. Like the case of little Amanda Griffin. In 1984, she disappeared from her Titusville home. 2 days later, her body was found. 11 years later, her murder goes unsolved.
My theory on this is that someone in this community still knows something about this crime. Someone still knows.
Channel 6 News' David Whitman takes a look at Central Florida's unsolved crimes in a special series beginning tomorrow on Channel 6 News at 6 o'clock. Well, they're calling it the longest mural in the world.
And we're not sure whether it really is, but it's being painted for a good cause nonetheless. Kids from neighborhoods all over Orlando are painting a mural on a 600-foot fence in downtown Orlando. They're being sponsored by the anti-drug organization called Orlando Fights Back. Today, the group threw a party to thank everybody who's been working on the mural. They began painting last May. They aren't finished yet, and they say it could take quite a while.
Much needed graffiti in that sense.
And it looks good. That kind of graffiti looks good.
Thanks for making Channel 6 your choice for news. See you back here at 11 o'clock.
We'll see you at 11. Bye-bye now.